Hello everyone, and welcome back to Ironhome, the only Starforged actual play that doesn't actually play Starforged. Today we're going to continue with Stardew Valley Episode 7. First off, I'd like to start by saying sorry, I lied about the frequent episodes. Stuff happened, but here we are. I'm noticing that Foundry is telling me that it's been 21 days and 23 hours since my last recording. I'll try to get better at it. Another thing is that it is very hot while I'm doing this recording, so I may pause the recording from time to time to turn on my fan and take a heat break. Otherwise, I will just be a big ball of sweat by the end of this episode. So, that aside, let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead with begin a session. Oh, and before one last word, I've also been modifying more house rules and messing around with stuff. If anyone's interested in me explaining these house rules or why or the how or whatever, I could make a video about that if anyone's interested. Just leave a comment below and let me know. Any case, let's go ahead and begin a session. The first thing we're going to do is identify or just flagged content. We don't need to do that in our game now. We will review or recap what happened last session. So let's go ahead and do that. So the first thing we did is we reached the witch's hut. She was cool, dressed with modern clothes and a big wide brim witch hat. We befriended her and we found our dog Bandit again. We learned about Rokuro's past and we saw a vision of what it is to come to Winterhome should the nature spirits be forgotten. We delved deeper into the woods to find a graveyard, and we were attacked by a spectral creature. Rokuro fought it for us, but was worn out in the process and disappeared. And we were left alone with Bandit in the woods. We saw off camera that something is stirring in the mines of the mountain. So let's go ahead and see. We have our journey to the graveyard. Let's go ahead and put some creepy woods music. Suspense, creepy. Let's go ahead and put any of these. All right, that is perfect. So we begin with Astrid yelling out, "Rokuro? Rokuro, are you there?" Bandit is very close to her, brushing up against her legs as they walk together through the woods. Let's go ahead and simply continue our journey as we delve into the depths of this forest. We'll see if we can find Rokuro later, if he comes back to us. Let's go ahead and undertake an expedition. We are going to try to keep under the radar because we have noticed that there are specters here, there are ghosts, and there are dangers in these woods. So we're going to roll with Shadow. And it's a miss. You are waylaid by a crisis or arrive at a waypoint to confront an immediate hardship or threat. So let's go ahead and see. We had some location themes. Definitely haunted. Let's roll for a feature and a peril. Alright, so twisted or altered architecture or terrain. So we had already said, I believe last session, that the trees were kind of bending and moving and blocking our path. So right now it's all a very twisted path, moving around the roots, and they're not actively, attacking us, but the path is all wobbly and stuff. And we have a sudden, shocking reveal of a ghostly manifestation or undead form. Well, actually, we already did that. I'm going to go with the one right below it, which is trickery leads you into danger. So what happens is the following. We said the path was very twisty and that, and we were moving around these roots. And what happens is that the trees lead us to a pit. Not just a pit, I don't know if it's ravine, a small cliff, like a dangerously deep cliff in the woods. And Astrid is walking, and suddenly she sees that just as she's at the edge there. So this is probably going to be an edge to react to that. So we're going to use our custom move, Face Danger, and we're going to roll with edge. This one's very simple. All I did is modify the weak hit so that it's not always a -1 to a stat. So we are going to react with speed, mobility, or agility. Let's go ahead and do that. So it's weak hit. You succeed, but not without a minor cost. Okay, let's see. Let's pay the price. Whoopsie. That's strange. All right, we'll comment that later. So let's go ahead and move and pay the price. Something of value is lost or destroyed. That's interesting. So I want to say that we lose our sword, because we could mark this as a very simple lose supply. But I'm going to say that, this might be a significant price to pay and so forth and so on. But I think it's interesting that we lose our sword. So let's go ahead into that. So how I imagine the situation is that we're, moving through these routes, and suddenly we come to this edge of this ravine, and Astrid slips on one of these roots, this edge of this cliff, and she barely just grabs on, and actually, the lantern, we had a lantern with us, because obviously it's dark and everything, and we were carrying a lantern, so it makes sense that we would drop the lantern. We would let go of the lantern as it goes ting, ching, 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 down, and we're just hanging on by our hands, and we're barely able to, just like the reaction to grab latch on as Bandit pulls at our sleeve to pull us back up, and we're like, ugh. And we crawl back up, and we're just sitting there gasping in the dark with Bandit by our side. And we now have to continue in the dark, feeling our way through the woods. Unless we have something we can make a torch with. This is probably a check your gear move. So we're gonna have to check our gear to see if we have anything. Maybe we can grab a stick from nearby, and maybe we've got some cloth we could rip off, or that kind of thing. I don't know if we actually need to check our gear, because I'm pretty sure, we could rip a piece of our clothes up. Let's go and check our gear first, and if not, we'll just do a secure an advantage. So let's go and check our gear. Let's see if we have anything that we can use. Wait, let's see if we have an asset, because we're a forager. Okay, actually, let's do a secure an advantage, because we have the crafter. We craft things. So when you make a move to craft or purpose modify equipment or technology, add +1. So we're going to do that. We're going to secure an advantage by basically grabbing some branches and ripping off a bit of our shirt or something, and maybe there's tree sap and grass around, and maybe we could use that to craft something and put it together to make ourselves a torch. If that's how you make a torch, I'm not an expert. So let's go ahead, and we're gonna add +1 and roll with wits. It's a strong hit. You succeed. Take +1 momentum. Oh yeah, wait. We're using our secure advantage, which is slightly different. So basically, we choose to take +2 momentum or add +1. I'm gonna choose to take +2 momentum. My version of secure advantage is a little bit weaker, but that's mine. And because of our asset, we also take +1 momentum on a hit. All right, so we're able to kind of craft our own little makeshift torch. We maybe some rocks we find there. It's a lot less light than we had with the lantern, but it should do. And this took us significant amount of time, because we were stumbling around in the dark while doing this. So let's go ahead and continue with our journey. And I'm thinking at this point we're moving at speed or shadow. Let's continue with shadow. Strong hit with a match. You reach a waypoint, envision the location, and mark progress. Excellent. I love it. So I know exactly what the match is. So let's first go see and envision our location. Unnatural mists or darkness. I like that. Let's go ahead and see if we make it there. So we are going to try to finish an expedition. Bam. Oh, a weak hit. As above, but you face an unforeseen complication at the end of your expedition. Mark the legacy reward 1 rank lower. Okay, so this was troublesome, so no rewards. And envision what you encounter. Okay. Let's see, what do we encounter? Once again. Interesting. Okay. Oh, I like that. Okay. So I'm going with assailed by an angry or vengeful being, and I'm going with guarded artifact. So I'm going to say that there's some kind of golem, a guardian creature in this graveyard for whatever reason. I imagine it like very typical big shouldered kind of armored thing, very big, very thick, and and it's dragging a big great sword. This is like, no, actually it doesn't have a great sword. It's just a big creature, no weapons, just a big creature. And it's just, what it's dragging? Its hands. It's dragging its hands like its arms low on the ground as its fingers are scraping by. Boom, as it steps. And as we are there, and Bandit is sort of like very softly growling, and Aster's like, shh. Suddenly, a whiff. This is a strong hit with a match. A whiff of boop, like a little blue flame sort of appears in front of us and begins to take a small intensity. And we've got the feeling that it's Rokuro, but he hasn't quite fully manifested yet. But we know he's here, and we know he's with us. And he's slowly recovering. And we can just kind of feel his energy there, and a little blue flame that just follows us around. Not enough energy to manifest fully and communicate with us just yet, but enough to just be a blue flame. And I think that Astrid tries to talk to Rokuro, like, Rokuro, is that you? And the flame kind of like moves up and down as if in response. Is it? Yes, it's me. And Astrid kind of like cups the little flame in her hands, and she says, "Oh, I'm so glad you're okay. I thought we had lost you." And Rokuro kind of like just dances around, and and she infers that Rokuro can't speak yet, and she looks over at the graveyard. By the way, this is probably going to mark progress on our journey, on our quest. And I've got so many quests that I think are the same thing that I don't know which one I should mark on. I should probably stop making so many quests like related to everything. I'm gonna say this is related to stopping Venry from taking the farm, because we came here looking for a piece of the artifact, and I just had the idea, what if the piece of the artifact we're looking for is in this guardian itself? But I think that might be a bit much. Let's ask the oracle. Let's see what the oracle says. I'm gonna say it's unlikely. Phew. No, it's not as part of this creature, but do we see it from where we are? I'm gonna say, yeah. I'm gonna say that as we're looking, surveying the graveyard, we can see it like on one of the graves, like set aside. Laid upon it is this last remaining piece of the artifact that we've been looking for. And we had also come here to free Rokuro from his curse. So we're gonna have to think about how we can do that. Let's go ahead and change the soundtrack to keep things let's go with yeah, sure, why not? Heat break. And we're back. If I ever forget to pause it and you see me take a break for like 1 minute where nothing happens, consider it free bonus Patreon content behind the scenes. Alright, so we came to free the ghost of its curse. Now, one of these graves probably belongs to Rokuro. Maybe, maybe not. We don't know that. Possibly. Maybe a memory of Rokuro's is in the graveyard. Someone that he loved or something. Someone related to him. In any case, we have two objectives here. One is to recover that piece of the artifact. And two is to obtain more information about Rokuro. Now, is there any way... let's see if we can... So, we're gonna try to sneak by this guardian. So, this is gonna be... Let's see if we have anything that can help me in this situation. I don't think my asset would help me outwitting this kind of creature. I'm gonna say yeah, why the hell not? We tell Bandit to stay, and we're gonna try to do that. We have to decide before rolling. Okay, we're gonna decide before rolling. We are going to try to outwit this creature, and we're gonna face danger by avoiding it. So we're gonna sneak around it with Shadow. Let's go ahead and do that. Shadow, and it's a weak hit, but we can re-roll any dice, and I'm gonna re-roll that 7. So let's see what we get. It's a 1. That means it's a strong hit. That means we take +1 momentum, and we are successful. So, we managed to go... We kind of... Imagine the graveyard's open to the sky, and there's moonlight shining down upon us. So we're able to sneak from grave to grave, hiding just as this creature... Boom, 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 passes in between the little pathways of the graveyard. We sneak, and we obtain the artifact that we came here for. We put it away with us, and then, while we're sneaking, we're going to try to... Excuse me. About Rokuro here in the graveyard. So I'm not gonna mark progress on our quest to stop Bender because kind of like the arriving here and getting thing is kind of like the same thing. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Let's go ahead and gather information. We're gonna roll with wits. We don't have any asset that would help us in this case. So let's go ahead and roll. Bam. A weak hit. The information provides new insight, but also complicates your quest. Envision what you discover, then take +1 momentum. Involves an organism or biological evidence. So, obviously one of the graves, one of the corpses. Let's see, let's ask the Oracle. Is it Rokuro's grave that we find? Yes. Yes, it is. Oh, I've got something interesting. Oh, I've got a really good idea. So what happens is we find Rokuro's grave, but it is empty. Someone has dug it out and removed his corpse, which is possibly why he is not at rest. Someone, perhaps a necromancer, another wizard or witch in this valley, or something else that we don't know yet, but I like it. So yeah, we discover that, and I imagine Rokuro's little spirit thing kind of like shaking around frantically as he discovers this, but there's not much more to be done. So we quickly leave the graveyard, leaving behind the guardian creature, and we make our way back to the witch's abode. So I'm gonna say that this is set a course. We're basically trying to reach back to the witch's abode. Let's go ahead and do that. It's a weak hit. You arrive, but face a cost or complication. Choose one. Suffer costs en route. Make a suffer move or 2 suffer moves. Face a complication at the destination. Let's just go ahead and say we lose a bit of health and a bit of spirit. There we go. As we kind of like, exhausted by the whole thing. Sorry about that. Okay, so we arrive at the witch's hut, which still isn't the connection, is she? She isn't. I think at this point we should probably try to make her a connection. Juliana the witch, tattooed, relaxed, 40s, 50s, big witch hat, tank top. So we arrive back at the witch's, and let's put some witch's hut music. Am I right? Yes, of course I'm right. Why would I not be right? Let's go ahead. Mysterious. Oh, yes, this one. I love it. So we arrive back at the witch's hut, and she asks us, a small conversation here and there. This time Rokuro does come with us and floats around with us, and the witch says something like, "Oh, that's the little spirit that was chasing you around," and she cups Rokuro in her hands, actually against Rokuro's will, because actually Rokuro's kind of like hiding behind us, still very afraid of the witch or angry at the witch. It's not clearly what, but she kind of like extends her hand, and Rokuro's kind of like forcibly drawn. You can see 2 little hands come out of the spirit, little tiny ball that latch onto us, but the witch's power is too much. And Astrid is like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And the witch raises her hand, and she cups Rokuro in her hands, utters some words, "Let's go," and then Rokuro is a bigger ball, about a tennis ball size, with eyes and a mouth, and he immediately says, "Let go of me, let go of me." Oh, I can talk again. "What did you do to me? Did you put another curse on me?" And the witch laughs, and Astrid's like, "Rokuro, calm down. Look, she helped you." And Rokuro's like, still not trusting the witch, kind of floats behind us. I like that. And we show the witch the artifact, so we've got all the pieces of the artifact. I think maybe the witch as well teaches us I think she gifts us. I think actually this would be a perfect moment to try to make a connection with her. I think this definitely is a connection. So let's go ahead and roll heart and see what happens. Of course it's a strong hit. I love it. All right. So I think the witch is going to be another connection. And Juliana the witch. I think she's going to be an epic connection. We are never going to form a bond with her. And let's go ahead and copy what we have here. She is just that powerful. All right. So I think what happens is that she gifts us a book of traditions, rituals, and so forth that we can use in our, what would it be, festival that we were going to do, so that it actually helps the spirits. So it's not just some make-believe festival. It's an actual festival ritual that will give the nature spirits their strength back. So that's good. And I think we ask her about Rokuro's missing corpse. If there is another witch, wizard, necromancer around in this valley. And let's go ahead and ask the Oracle if she knows anything about it. If it's true, there is an Oracle, or sorry, necromancer. I'm gonna say it's 50-50. Let's go ahead. No. She does not know anything about this, and it piques her interest. So we're gonna have to investigate where Rokuro's corpse might have gone to, or who might have done this. But she does not know anything about this. It's very interesting. Which means that Rokuro will be hanging out with us for a while. And I'm gonna say that maybe not everyone can see Rokuro. Maybe just Astrid, because of her connection to the nature spirits. Astrid and the witch and others like that. I like that. So let's go ahead and head back to the farm. Actually, before we head back to the farm, I'm gonna say that we want to recover some supplies. And I'm gonna do basically I've melded all the recover moves into single one to keep it simple. And I'm gonna say I'm gonna add +1 because we're gonna ask the witch for help. You know, say, hey, we're headed back to town. Do you have anything you can lend us, and so forth and so on. Now that we're besties. And we're gonna roll with heart. So we're gonna click here. And it's a miss. Even with the +1, it's a miss. I could burn momentum to turn it into a weak hit, so I am gonna do that. I'm gonna burn my momentum and turn it into a weak hit. So I'm gonna take +2 supply, but envision a cost or complication that occurs. Okay, I know exactly what occurs. So basically, she's gonna say, "Of course, I can give you supplies to go to trip back to town and everything." But she insists very much on me staying. You know, on me staying a while. Maybe it's a single night. Maybe it's a few days. Maybe she's very interested in teaching me the traditions and the rituals of the book so that I do them right, and she's very insistent on that. And Astrid, you know, okay, fine, I'll stay around. And, you know, she stays for a day or two. And the issue with that is that we're gonna mark another tick on the clock because time continues to pass when we're not at the farm. So that, I like that a lot. And let me check something. Let me check the develop your relationship. No, I don't think this counts as developing a relationship. Yeah, why not? It's an epic connection. I'm gonna mark a tick if I want to. Who's gonna stop me, Sean? Okay, so let's go ahead and set a course back to town. Gonna roll with supply. And it's a weak hit. So... interesting. Suffer costs en route. I'm gonna say, yeah, we suffer 1 supply and another spirit or another health. I'm gonna say another health, as we kind of like, get scrapes and scratches, and maybe at one point we fall and we injure our ankle a little bit. It's a long journey through the forest until we make it back. And I imagine... heat break. As I was saying, I imagine that when we arrive, Fenry's lawyers are practically at the farm, arguing with Alyssa Kwan. They're trying to kind of like get in, and Alyssa Kwan is the shopkeeper. Let's go ahead and large, friendly, and there's a cat as well. And she's kind of like closed shop to kind of like keep the lawyers out of the farm. And they're kind of like arguing when we get there. Because basically they're arguing that the owner isn't at the farm and this and that and blah, 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 and legal things. And Alyssa is like, yes, you just left for like a second and left me in charge. You can't just barge in here. And then the cat's like at the lawyers. And as we arrive, Alyssa kind of like grabs me by my hand, like, see, she's right here. Now get off her farm. And the lawyers kind of like walk away, and it's like, grumble, mumble, mumble. And Alyssa turns to me, grabs me by the shoulders, and says, where have you been? They are this close to taking your farm, girl. And Astrid's like, it's okay. I've got the perfect plan. Everything is gonna work out. And thank you so much for taking care of the farm. I love you. She kind of gives Alyssa a big old hug. And Alyssa says, now, I've had to close shop for this, so you owe me big time. And Astrid says, of course. Anything you need. You need me to go to the woods to find something for you? I can go to the woods and find something for you. And Alyssa just kind of shakes her head and says, you need to take care of your farm, girl. Forget adventuring for a bit. Stay in your farm. Plant some crops. Take care of it. Please. She kind of just walks away, and Astrid thinks, she is kind of right. It's been a while since we've farmed stuff. Kind of onto the background of everything. So I'm gonna say that definitely marks progress in our connection with her, because she's been awesome for us and everything, and I like that. And I don't know if that counts as something, but I'm gonna say this counts as leveraging their help in desperate circumstances. Even though we didn't ask for it, she was holding back her farm. So let's go ahead and mark that. Let's go ahead and change the music. Bada bing, bada bam, bada boom. Well, let's go to something peaceful. So, what we're left with now is before she goes, Astrid keeps telling Alyssa, tell everyone, festival, end of spring, here at the farm, honor the nature spirits. There's gonna be food, there's gonna be stuff, it's gonna be music, it's gonna be great. The museum's involved, and just yeah, it's gonna be great. And Alyssa goes off to hopefully do that. So I'm gonna make a progress track, which is going to be basically we're gonna be a scene challenge. This isn't so much a scene as much as a whole thing for this last part, which would be to prepare the ritual. So in the scene challenge, Extended or complex challenge. Name your objective. So we're going to write it and we're going to appear. Prepare the festival. And it's going to be... Let's see. Let's list the things we need to do. We need to prepare the ritual. We need to get everyone on board. We need to prepare the ritual and prepare the festivities, because the ritual's like different from the festivities. We need to get food and stuff and things. Prepare the festivities. And is there anything else? I think that's it. So let's make it troublesome. Let's make those 3 things. Keep it simple. And we're going to add a 4-sided clock since this is a scene challenge. Alright, so then we're going to face danger and secure an advantage as we see fit. And I'm going to have to make a note to modify the secure an advantage to the one I have. Oh wait, we're not using these. Excuse me, we have our own begin the scene. Nah, it's troublesome. It's pretty easy. We have a clear advantage. Excellent. Alright, so let's go ahead and do the thing. What happened to the things I wrote here? I wrote things here and they disappeared. The things I have written have disappeared. So we said, prepare the ritual, let everyone know, and prepare festivities. Alright, so let's start by letting everyone know. That seems like the more. So we're going to do a gain ground, and we are going to use Alyssa's help here. With Alyssa... oh, that's right. I get a +1 momentum from having used my my connection with the witch earlier. And now we're going to do the same. We're going to add a +1. We're going to use our heart, sociability. We're basically going to go around the town, letting everyone know about the festival that's coming soon, to honor the nature spirits, so forth and so on. It's going to be held at the farm, at the Edris farm. I don't know if the farm has a name. Does it have a name? The Edris farm. And we're going to go ahead and do that. So we're going to roll with heart +1. It's a weak hit. So you're successful and mark progress, but also encounter a complication or setback. Envision what occurs and fill a clock segment. So we're going to mark 1 clock segment. And let's envision what happens. Action and theme. Uphold history. Interesting. Uphold history. The complication. So I'm going to go with, there's a, sorry, I blanked out there for a second. I'm going to say that there is perhaps a few folk in town that are maybe old and stuff, and I'm going to say that instead of upholding, you know, like, the true history of this town, they're more like, these traditions aren't our traditions, you know, kind of nonsense, and maybe they're being a bit troublesome, and we're gonna have to keep an eye on them. And they're basically causing some ruckus around town, and that kind of thing. So, oh, it keeps disappearing. Everything I write here keeps disappearing. Why is that? I'm gonna have to see if that happens all the time. Let's go. I'll test that later, but just for the second, I'm gonna up, beep. Close it. Open it. It's still there. Okay. Never mind. Let's modify. Okay. So the next part was we let everyone know, and now we're going to prepare the festivities. This is going to be, I'm gonna say, with wits. Now we're gonna, yeah, this is gonna be like, preparing the tables, the chairs, the food, gathering some things and so forth. And I'm gonna say that we're definitely gonna use Alyssa's help here as well with this. So let's go ahead and make a roll with a +1 and wits. It's a miss with a match. Fill 2 clog segments and pay the price. That is never good. That is never good at all. You are delayed or put at a disadvantage. Okay, so... Oh, wait. We had to mark progress on the track for the first time. Interesting. Delayed or put at a disadvantage. Let's roll on some oracles, people. Eliminate commerce. Interesting. Okay, so... I'm thinking... Venri. This is Venri's doing. Because Alyssa has been helping Astrid, he's kind of somehow intervened in some way with his connections and his money, and Alyssa hasn't been receiving stock as normal, so we're not going to be fully stocked for the festival. So we're going to have to do something about that. So food might be a little bare, so forth for the festival. Maybe we can do something else about it. We'll see. But Alyssa is definitely angry at this. She's definitely like, okay, now we really have to screw over this Venri guy. And the last part is going to be preparing the ritual. So I'm going to do that with Kimura's help. They're from the museum and they have all kinds of knowledge of stuff, and I'm going to share the tome that Juliana shared with me, and together we are going to prepare the actual ritual. So let's go ahead and do that. It's going to be a +1 with wits, and let's hope this goes well. It's a weak hit. Okay, this isn't great. Envision what happens. Let's envision. Remove what is it with history? Okay, I know exactly what happens. There is a key part, a page, missing from the book that we had. And because of that, we're forced to kind of take extra time trying to figure out what should be in between. And that takes us a significant amount of time. So for that, we're going to mark another clock. And with that, once the clock is done, we have to finish the scene, even though we have only 6 progress. So let's go ahead and see if the festival was prepared in time. Here we go. Oh, it's a weak hit. So on a weak hit, you succeed, but not without a cost. You must pay the price and make this a minor cost relative to the scope of the scene. So let's go ahead and see. You are separated from something or someone. Interesting. Actually, you know what? I like this one. Your action causes collateral effect or has an unintended collateral damage or has an unintended effect. So I'm going to say the following happens. Let's go ahead and put some different music. So first, so it's a success. So, let's put on some music. We have the whole town, well, a significant portion of the town gathered at the farm. We've kind of managed to scrape by with some food and drink, something of some reserves of farm that I had and whatever Alyssa had, and people are sort of, oh, the farm, it looks good. I see you planted some flowers here and there. Oh, and everyone's, talking and stuff. And Fenry's there with his lawyers, and they're all talking like, looking around the farm. And, what's her name? Honora Beckett, I believe, is the lawyer. And she's there too as well, and she's like, you've done a lovely job, dearie, excellent, great work. And everyone's just mingling. Even Lucas has shown up to eat a little bit and just stare from afar, and Astrid walks up to him and, she shares all the stories and everything that has happened while she was in her journey. And I think we already marked it progress here for a while ago. Give me a second, sorry. She shows him the spectral part of, I can't remember if it was a bone or something that we found in the ghost. So they share adventuring stories, and Merrick is there, and everyone's there, and Kimura's there, and they're explaining about the history of the town and everything. And it's really great. And then comes the time to, perform the ritual. The ritual in honor of the nature spirits. So we're going to go ahead and put some... actually, some... This one might be better. Let's see this one. Oh, I like that. Yeah, let's go with that. So, the artifact has been sort of put together, and it's a little kind of statuette of one of these spirits. It's probably the the little spirit with the leaf at the top. Let's go with that. I remember we had seen once the statue of the kind of like a geode spirit, and this is the sort of leaf forest spirit. So there's incense, there's the little statuette there, and Astrid kneels down in front of the statuette, opens the book in front of it, looks around, and the town is looking at her like, okay, what's this about? Okay, fine, A few skeptical looks, thumbs up from Kimura in the back. You got this. And she begins to read the words of this ancient tongue that the spirits use, and it's basically an honoring of the nature spirits for their constant help in everything. It's a sort of basically an honoring and a gratitude of the spirits at the same time. A sort of maybe a promise to work together and to strengthen the bonds between spirits and people. And what I think happens is that for a while, nothing happens. Astrid finishes reading the words. There's a momentary pause. Everyone's just like expectant, like, is that it? Is that? Some people are kind of hoping to see something, like nothing happens, and then everyone just, a few murmurs begin to talk amongst the crowds. You can hear a few murmurs among the crowd. I'm so terrible with names. Kimura kind of like walks up to to Astrid and puts a hand on her shoulder and it's like, it's okay. Kind of like, don't worry about it. When suddenly, the ground trembles. Very slightly, but it can be felt. Everyone goes quiet. And suddenly, a vine begins to grow out of the ground. And a flower sprouts. And then suddenly the ground trembles more violently and plants begin to burst everywhere in the farm. And the people start yelling and screaming, and after a bit, it all calms down. And Astrid's like, "Is everyone okay? Is everyone fine?" You know, and everyone seems to be okay. No one seems to be injured. The lawyers and Venry are definitely talking amongst themselves, and that is why I am going to mark progress on this. But at the same time, I'm going to mark progress on the quests, meaning it has definitely helped us, but the lawyers are going to use this moment to their advantage. So they basically say, clearly, Astrid has no idea what she's doing. These powers that she's interacting with are dangerous and could bring harm to this town and so forth and so on. And the lawyers start arguing. Like, actually, Venry is arguing with the lawyers, kind of like murmuring into his ears. And Astrid stands up and she says, and she basically says what she knows from the witch, that if it wasn't for the nature spirits, this town would perish. The ground would die and the water would stop and everything, and that she is committed to this farm and to this town. And she will do everything to save this farm and this town. And it's in that moment when we must roll to see whether we stop Venry from taking the farm. And should we not stop Venry from taking the farm, what the hell will happen with this game? Here we go. 7 or less. Oh, it's a weak hit. Your vow is fulfilled, but there is more to be done. Or you realize the truth of your quest. If you swear an iron vow to set things right, take your full legacy reward per the vow's rank. Or mark the reward 1 rank lower. Interesting. So there's definitely more to be done. I'm going to say we stop here, and I'm going to think about it. I'm going to think about what the next... Venry's definitely not done here. Astrid stands there, strong against this, and several of the town cheer her on, like, yeah, go Astrid, Let's go ahead and put some epic victory music. Why not? Let's give it a try. Where do we have some peaceful? Yes, I like this one. This one's really good. Done. Here it comes. Sorry, I'll stop now. So basically, like I said, Astrid is there, and the town is cheering her on, and Venry is scowling as the town celebrates. And in the background in the forest, we can see some of the nature spirits dancing where no one can see them, and everything is just great and wonderful. But Venry gives us a look. You haven't seen the last of me yet. And Astrid kind of like smiles, kind of like a smug smile. Kind of like, yeah, I beat you this time. And I'm going to think about what the next vow is, since we have to, continue on from that. But for now, I'm going to say that this definitely has marked progress on restoring Grandpa's farm. And also on helping the nature spirits recover the strength. So let's go ahead and end it there. I don't want to make another move for what's happening in the background, because that scene is just excellent. The whole town celebrating the victory, and oh, that's right, we have to mark. We stopped Venry from taking the farm, and that was dangerous. So we marked 2 ticks on our legacy track of quests 1 and 2. Excellent. So that's it for this episode. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I'd like a big thank you to Sean Tomking for making the game, Mihail for making the logos and everything else, Ben Straub and team for making this Ironstorm Foundry module, Ian Fisher for the amazing music that I love, and ConcernedApe for making Stardew Valley. If you haven't, don't forget to like and subscribe, tell your friends, so on and so on. As always, thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next episode. So, bye-bye!